This is the Cinematography for Actors podcast.
More than a podcast, CFA is a vibrant community devoted to bridging the gap between talent and crew. Each week, our show offers transparent, insightful conversations with industry leaders. We unveil the magic behind the scenes, from candid discussions about unique filmmaking processes to in-depth technical exploration.
Join us in unraveling the intricacies of filmmaking one episode at a time. It's more than just cameras and lenses over here. We aim to inspire, educate, and empower as we peel back the curtain on the art of effective storytelling.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks. All right. As a DP, I know purchasing gear can kind of be a nightmare. Whether you're talent or crew, finding technical solutions to any of your problems can be very challenging. And what's even harder is knowing where to go. So we have an answer for you. Head over to BandPro, one of our incredible sponsors here at CFA. Whether you're looking for high-end cameras and lenses or looking for guidance on what is needed to get started on this equipment journey of yours, BandPro has the gear and team that you need to thrive in your own career.
They are the exclusive representative of Ingenue's complete cinema line for all of North and South America, and their customer support is fantastic. Not only do they have a great team to answer any product question you might have, but they also have a talented team of in-house technicians that you can actually talk to get your equipment back up and running.
Which is really important, especially if you're on set. So,
yeah.
Bonus. Go to bandpro.com or stop in at their location in Burbank, and please make sure to say hi from CFA because we love them so very much.
Us.
Yeah, hello. Thanks, everyone.
Hi everyone, welcome back to another special AFI FEST episode of Cinematography for Actors podcast. I am your host, Haley Royal, and I'm here with Florian Anderson, who, it's been a minute since we've seen Flo. Welcome back.
Thank you.
And I'm seated here with the team from Lucky Market. We have, for our second time, Eric Wang Schwager. It's
Hello.
Schwager, right? Or
Schwager, but that's okay.
Schwager,
yeah.
but you also like swag.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, man, we brought that one back? Really? Damn.
We're bringing it back. We have DP Rayana Rasamee and producer, for a second time around, Cindy Zhang. Hi, you guys.
Hi.
Welcome.
Thank you for having us.
Yes.
We're
Thank
glad
you.
you're here. We have so much to talk about. Before we get going, Eric, why don't you give us a little logline to let everyone know what we're looking
Yeah,
at?
absolutely. So Lucky Market is about Min, an older grocer who is on her last day of work and then is kind of just saying goodbye to this home she's created when all of a sudden a racist violent attack happens that makes her reconsider everything she's ever accomplished. So, yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, lighthearted at points.
I mean, you know my taste. Yeah, absolutely. There actually is. It is
There's
kind of a
moments,
dramedy. Yeah, we've
yeah.
had some festivals label us
Yeah.
as a dramedy.
Okay,
there are
great.
some moments. I think the levity also helps accent the drama, right? In a lot of ways. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so you shot at a supermarket, of course, because that's what it's about. Let's talk about some of the logistics with that. Cindy, was that something that you felt like you really had to spearhead to make sure that it was... We know someone else who's having a hard time finding a super. We're just going to talk
not
about
easy.
it. It's not easy. How'd you go about it?
Yeah, I mean, like, it's not easy to find because, like, we really want to, like, find a market that can, like, represent, like, a Asian supermarket, which is, like, rare to find it, like, in LA even. So we scout a lot of, like, supermarkets around the town, like, I think, like, we did, like, I don't know, like 5 or 6 a day, like for several
Oh, yeah.
days. It's like crazy, but eventually, like, we found this like really nice, sweet little like grocery store, and which has like the possibility to be redressed to an Asian market, and our production designer like Sandra like did a great job on redressing
Yeah.
it, like to feel like you know, a real one. So and we have to shoot like 3 like overnights, which
Yeah.
is like tough, but also like that's how it is, like to fit in our budget, but also like make it work for our film.
Yes, and then there are also, Rayana, I want to talk to you about some of the technical obstacles that come with shooting in a real store, because you
Oh,
can't,
yeah.
if you need to fit things in, you can't just chop off the end of an aisle or something. How'd you work around that kind of
Yeah,
thing?
it was a lot of planning amongst like Eric, Sandra, and I, and just working so collaboratively together, and communicating like what our shots are going to be so that we could design our shots around the physical limitations of the place as well. And then working with Cindy and our first AD, because we had a lot of scheduling logistics. So we had to night for day and then day for night. And it was just everything. And so a lot of that involves so much communication on the forefront amongst all of your department heads.
Right, yeah, we love hearing about communication amongst departments. That's something that we're big about at Cinematography for Actors, is the communication with your collaborators. Are there things that you look for, all three of you actually, in collaborators that you know it'll work out really well? Are there elements of a person's personality that you like to see, your professional style?
Oh man, I think the biggest one for me is building rapport and trust. Like I'd say, like Eric is one of my closest friends and collaborators, and we met like doing our first cycle film together at AFI, and from there it's just like really getting to like know each other and like supporting one another, and just like, you know, we are on the same team, and being able to speak that language I think is so important as a part of this process. And just like, you know, you have a rough idea and then it gets polished over time into a diamond. So that's been like our relationship.
Yeah, I think.
Speaking of communication, I'm interested in how do you convey the dramedy? How do you convey that to your actor to find, it's such a fine line where like how to be funny, how to like stay truthful while being funny, like what's the conversation with your actors?
Yeah, I mean, at least for my taste and in this film, they have to be taking themselves completely seriously. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think if it becomes a little slapsticky, no offense to that, if that's what you want to do, but that wasn't this movie, if they aren't taking themselves seriously. And I think that a lot of times their performance is accented by where the camera is, what's around them art-wise, and everything. Where, you know, if you have a wide that's just a little too wide as someone scuffles out, it's funny. You have that physical comedy to it. Whereas if like you're right there on their face, no matter how incredible of an actor they are, you won't get that same type of punchline. So I think a lot of times we always talk about how much we can help the actors, and then exactly, and then let them play around in that space. Yeah, absolutely.
Speaking of conversations with talent and crew, you direct in 2 languages, is that correct?
I did, yeah. I directed, this was Mandarin and then English in this, yeah.
And was it because your talent was speaking Mandarin? What was the reason?
This is a
for
sore subject
bringing in-
because I don't
Oh,
speak
no.
Mandarin. I know, I'm multi-ethnic, but I think, you know, a lot of, in the past, assimilation was more in vogue than actually, like, you know, being unique and having that voice. So
Yes.
my mom didn't necessarily want us to learn Mandarin. And just focus on English. And, you know, I keep telling her one of these days I'll study Mandarin, but, you know, Cindy, you gotta hook it up, man. You gotta help me out, you know?
Yeah. Right. I mean, like, I speak Chinese, so like we were always like there like for the shoot, and like I'm like helping like with like communication and like note taking, and like helping with like some of like the pronunciations on set. So yeah. I mean, like, we made it work.
All right. As a DP, I know.
Like too.
All right. As a DP.
Doing it, but
All right. As a DP.
all the
All right. As a DP, I know. All right. As a DP, I know purchasing gear can kind of be a nightmare. Whether you're talent or crew, finding technical solutions to any of your problems.
The AFI, that's what they want. Well, I think it was also nice because once we got in the rhythm, like, it was just an extra step in the directing and before you check the gate, you know, because we did shoot film. Like, before you check the gate, like, having one more step and one more, like, level of communication of, are we good to actually move on? Or, you know, like, is there something I didn't hear, but, like, I felt that everything was good. So it was just, you know, once we got in that rhythm, it was pretty seamless.
So, directing in 2 languages, and you also shot, if I may use a metaphor, you also shot in 2 languages, film and digital.
yes.
Can you talk
Yeah.
about that decision?
Oh, I remember. I don't know if you remember this, Eric, but you gave me a task and you're like, find a reason to shoot on digital and film. And I had to like think about this. And I was like,
don't remember
wait.
that at all.
Oh, you don't? Because I remember
Well, I
it.
remember like the idea, like us talking about like, let's do like film and digital and mixed media because it is
Yeah.
like more common on like bigger budget stuff, and I thought it was a good like exercise. But yeah, this is really
I
funny. I don't
see.
remember like giving you a task.
You did. You did. You blacked it out from your memory, but
Yeah.
it's okay
Yeah.
because I remember. And I get to tell this story now because
Yes.
I was like, all right, my experiences growing up as an Asian American in this culture, I went to the grocery store, the Asian grocery stores with my mom, and so all of that felt photographic and nostalgic, and it felt like film photographs to me. So there's a lot of texture, and so I suggested, hey, why don't we look into shooting super 16 mil, because the granular textures are a little bit more prominent than 35 millimeter, which is a lot more finer, and sometimes you can't tell the difference between 35 millimeter and shooting on an ARRI camera. So that was the choice that we went with for the footage leading up to the attack, and then when she gets attacked, Min, our protagonist, we then switch over to digital.
Wow. Give us that different kind of feeling.
Yeah, it's very
Oh, my
lucid,
goodness.
sobering, and just, it's a shift in her perspective of how she sees the world.
I would love to know what each of you is proudest of in this particular film production, the process. What are you happy with?
Man.
Yeah.
Do you want to go ahead first? Go ahead.
Sure.
All right.
I can start because initially I'm really wanted to make a film about Asians in the U.S. and kind of inspired by a true event that a real elderly woman was getting attacked because of sort of hate crime in San
Right.
Francisco, but she
Yes.
really fights back. And initially I had this idea, and then I'm so glad that I found a team that's all into making something that delivers the message, and to find the strengths and power in elderly Asian women, which is a
Yes.
rare perspective that people don't usually see. And yeah, I'm just glad we made it, which I'm really proud of.
That's wonderful. Rayana?
I'm really proud that we were able to make something emotionally impactful in 12 minutes. I think
Yes.
what I learned, my biggest takeaway from film school is making a short film is really hard to do, much harder than having 90 minutes to 2 hours to tell a story. And so I felt like we really honed our storytelling skills, and we're able to accomplish that in Lucky Market.
Eric?
I think off of both of those, the team, the story, and then just the performances, I think we had a larger cast than I'm used to for a short film, and I think that we were able to, everyone just really brought their A game, and, one of my favorite scenes I've ever directed was the last scene of this film, and so I just think that, Sindra, Chen, Harmony, Jing, everyone just did their thing, and it was really, really incredible, so I was really proud of that.
Thank you for sharing all of those with us, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. We have to wrap everything up, but looking forward to catching it. And thanks so much.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
everyone.
Thank you very much.
Join us in bridging the gap between talent and crew. Start by subscribing on your preferred podcast platform. Sign up for our newsletter to stay up to date on vendor discounts, community events, new podcast releases, and you can educate yourself through our free course releases on YouTube.
It all starts at cinematographyforactors.com, and if you like this episode, consider leaving a review to make it easier for fine folks just like yourself to find us. We have some super exciting news. CFA has teamed up with We Make Movies to offer you a discount on production management services, including access to comprehensive production insurance, workers' comp for your next shoot. All you have to do is visit wemakemovies.com/insurance and use code CFA23 on your intake form for 10% off your quote.
Also, we've just partnered with We Audition, which I'm sure you know I'm very excited about, to offer you 25% off your membership. Use code CFA25 to get that membership for only $7.50 a month or $75 a year.